My wife cheated with my best friend, used the tennis club as their excuse to secretly to hook up, so I exposed them. And the fallout made her beg on her knees. I'm 32, male, and Emily is 29, female. She's smart, caring, and we've always been that couple, you know, the kind of team where we at each other's backs no matter what. I thought I knew her inside and out. We didn't have kids yet, still figuring out timing and all that, but we were steady. Life wasn't perfect, but it felt good enough. Enter Mike. Mike, 33, male, is an old college buddy of mine. We're not see each other every weekend close, but he's the kind of guy I'd trust with my car, my secrets, or my life. Solid dude. So, about 8 months ago, Mike comes over for dinner. We're catching up, joking around, when he brings up this new hobby he's gotten into, table tennis. Wait, like ping pong? I asked, laughing a little. Nah, man, Mike says, it's a whole sport. Pro leagues, tournaments, strategy, everything. He starts showing us videos on his phone. I'm still half thinking he's messing with me, but Emily, she's into it, like really into it. She's asking him questions about the players, how tournaments work, the training they do, stuff I wouldn't have thought twice about. I remember looking over at her, and she's got this huge smile on her face. I had no idea it was so intense, she says. Mike looks thrilled someone's actually listening to him rant about this stuff. That should have been it. Mike leaves, I poke fun at him for being the most passionate ping pong player I know, and life moves on. But nah, this is where everything started going sideways. The next day, I catch Emily watching a table tennis match on her phone. Still thinking about Mike's videos, huh? I ask. She laughs it off. It's kind of interesting, though. Like, look at how fast they play. It's ridiculous. I didn't think much of it. People go down YouTube rabbit holes all the time, right? I mean, I've watched 3 hours of marble racing just because it popped up on my feed. I figured it'd pass. It didn't. Over the next couple of weeks, it was like Emily became a whole new person. She'd come home from work, kick off her shoes, and instantly plop on the couch to watch table tennis matches. Not Netflix, not some random true crime doc, table tennis. She started dropping player names like she was some kind of expert. Have you heard of Ma Long? He's basically unbeatable. I'd nod along, trying to act interested because, well, she was clearly excited about it. At first, I thought it was funny. Like, how does someone just wake up one day and become a table tennis superfan? I even joked, you going to join a league or something? But Emily wasn't laughing. It's a real sport, Adam. These guys work harder than most athletes. She wasn't wrong, I guess, but it was getting weird. One night, we're getting ready for bed, and I notice she's still scrolling her phone, earbuds in, smiling like a kid. What are you watching now? I ask. Just highlights from a tournament Mike told me about, she says. Mike. The name hit me weird. He'd come up more than I was comfortable with lately, but Mike was my friend, and Emily was just into something new. End of story. Except it wasn't. Emily's little hobby started snowballing into something way bigger than I could have expected, and trust me, I didn't see it coming. Because who the hell obsesses over table tennis, right? But here we are. I'd started coming home, and she'd be mid-match, eyes glued to the screen like she was watching the Super Bowl. Who's winning? I'd joke, just to feel part of whatever she had going on. Shu Sin is killing it, she'd say without looking up. I had no idea who the hell Shu Sin was, but cool, good for him, I guess. But here's where things started getting off. Emily wasn't just watching table tennis anymore, she was studying it. I'd find her with notebooks open, scribbling down stats like she was a coach preparing for a championship. She'd talk about player spin techniques or how their footwork separated the pros from the amateurs. I didn't even know footwork mattered in ping pong, but apparently, it's life and death to her. At first, I chalked it up to her needing a new focus. Emily's always struggled with anxiety, and hobbies helped her feel grounded. I wanted to be supportive. If table tennis helped her escape or made her happy, who was I to argue? But things got weirder. Then she started talking about Mike more. Mike said there's this huge online community for fans. He told me about these forums where people break down matches, share tips. It's wild, she said one night over dinner. Wait, you're chatting with Mike on forums now? I asked. No, he just pointed me to some good ones, she replied quickly. He knows a lot about this stuff, so he's helping me understand it better. I let it slide. I mean, Mike's a friend, right? If he wanted to share his weird ping pong knowledge with Emily, that was his business. But something about it didn't sit right. She'd never taken up a hobby this hard before, let alone one that tied back to another guy, my friend. Then there was the money thing. About a month into her new obsession, I noticed some weird withdrawals from our account. Nothing huge, like $25 here, $50 there. At first, I assumed it was random stuff, groceries, coffee, whatever. But it added up, and I got curious. "Hey, Em, what's this charge for TT Player Fund?" I asked one day, looking at my banking app. She barely looked up. "Oh, it's a donation site. Some table tennis players need funding to compete in tournaments." "You're donating to ping pong players now?" I asked, laughing a little. "They're not ping pong players, Adam. They're athletes. And yeah, they don't have big sponsors, so fans help out. Mike told me about it. It's kind of cool." There was Mike again. "All right," I said, shrugging it off. I didn't love the idea of our money going to random people with paddles, but I figured it wasn't worth a fight. But over time, those withdrawals started getting bigger, $75, $100. I brought it up again, and this time, I didn't let it slide. "What's going on, Emily? What's with these transfers?" I asked. She rolled her eyes like I was the one acting out of line. "It's not a big deal, Adam. You spend money on dumb stuff too." "Yeah, well, I'm not sending it to random strangers," I shot back, sharper this time. She glared at me for a second before going quiet, like she decided it wasn't worth answering. I waited for her to say something, anything, but she just walked out of the room. I told myself to drop it because I hated where that argument was going, but deep down, I knew something was off. Then it got worse. A few weeks later, Emily started working late all the time, out of nowhere. She'd text me at 6 p.m. with, "Hey, staying late at the office," or "meeting a coworker for dinner, work stuff." I wasn't buying it. One night, I confronted her. "Emily, what's really going on? You think I don't notice all this late night work suddenly popping up?" She turned on me instantly. "You're being paranoid, Adam," she said. "It's just work. You don't need to overthink everything." "That's not paranoia. You're acting weird, and I'm not going to pretend I don't see it," I shot back. She stared me down, frustrated, like I was the problem. And maybe I was starting to feel like I was the problem, like I was losing it. But I couldn't ignore it anymore. Emily was pulling away, and I wasn't going to sit back and let it happen. And Mike? He wasn't around much anymore. He wasn't texting me like he used to, and when I reached out, he was always busy. We used to hang out every other weekend, but suddenly, it was like I'd been cut out. I thought maybe it was a coincidence, maybe work had him tied up too, but then one night, everything shifted. I came home late from work, around 8:30 p.m. Emily was in the living room, headphones in, watching something on her laptop. I walked up behind her, ready to say hi, when I saw the screen. It wasn't a match, it was a FaceTime call, and on the other end, Mike. Emily noticed me before I could say anything and slammed her laptop shut like a kid getting caught watching something they shouldn't. "What are you doing?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. "Nothing," she said quickly, standing up. Mike was showing me a tournament bracket. I didn't think it was a big deal." "A FaceTime call?" "That's not nothing, Emily," I said, staring at her. She avoided my eyes. "You're overreacting, Adam. I didn't think I had to run every conversation I have with Mike by you." And there it was, Mike again. I didn't say anything after that. I just stood there for a second, glaring at her. She got nervous. I was letting her words hang in the air, and then I turned and walked out. No yelling, no accusations, just me trying to keep my cool. I ended up in the kitchen, sitting in the dark. I must have sat there for an hour, staring at nothing, trying to wrap my head around it. Emily wasn't just into table tennis. I just got that feeling that she was into Mike. I didn't have solid proof, not yet, but every instinct I had was screaming at me that something was off. And if I was wrong, fine, I'd rather be careful than clueless. So, I started paying attention. I watched her casually at first, like I wasn't really looking. I noticed how her phone was always face down or out of reach, how she'd laugh at texts but never tell me why. I clocked the sudden late nights and those dinner meetings that didn't quite add up. I wasn't crazy. I knew what I was seeing. It was just a matter of time before I could prove it. Trust me, I wanted to be wrong. I wanted it to be nothing, just two people geeking out over a hobby I didn't get. But you know when something doesn't sit right in your gut? Yeah, that feeling. Now, around this time, Mike and I basically stopped talking. It wasn't a conscious decision on my end. I just figured he was busy, and honestly, things felt awkward since the FaceTime thing. But part of me started wondering if he was the one pulling away. I mean, this was one of my oldest friends. Why would he go quiet unless he had something to hide? Then there was Emily's work schedule. I put that in quotes because it was getting suspicious. She'd never been the type to put in extra hours unless she had to, but suddenly, it was happening all the time. Late meeting tonight, don't wait up, she'd text me, or grabbing dinner with Sarah after work. She's going through some stuff. Sarah was her coworker. Seemed believable. But after that FaceTime, I started wondering if Sarah even existed. One night, Emily came home at almost 11 p.m. I was sitting on the couch, pretending to watch TV, but really, I was waiting. "Hey, sorry I'm so late," she said, tossing her bag on the counter. Sarah and I lost track of time. "Where'd you go?" I asked, keeping my tone light. She froze for half a second. I swear it was just half a second, but it was enough. That new Italian place near her apartment. It was good. She didn't look me in the eye when she said it. Now, maybe I was being paranoid, but I wasn't about to let this slide. The next day at work, I did something I'd never done before. I checked her location history on Google. Look, I know it's not my proudest moment, but I was losing my mind here. I needed to know. Turns out, she hadn't been anywhere near that new Italian place the night before. Her location pinged across town, nowhere close to where Sarah lived. I stared at my phone for a solid minute, my hands shaking. I didn't want to believe it, but deep down, I knew something was happening. That night, I decided to confront her, gently at first. I didn't want to blow up on her without proof, although if you asked me, I wanted to turn the house upside down. So, after dinner, while she was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone, I sat down next to her. "Hey, can we talk?" I asked. She looked up, surprised. "Yeah, sure. What's up?" I feel like you're pulling away from me lately," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "You're always on your phone, you're working late all the time, and, Adam, stop," she cut me off. "You're overthinking this." "I'm not," I said, a little firmer this time. "Something's going on, Emily. Just tell me the truth." She rolled her eyes. "The truth? Fine. I like table tennis. I'm spending time on a hobby. I'm sorry if that bothers you, but it's not a big deal." "It's not just the table tennis," I shot back. "It's Mike." Her face went pale. I don't think she expected me to say that. "What about Mike?" she said. "You're always talking to him, FaceTiming him. He's the one who got you into this, and now you're lying to me about where you're going at night." "So, yeah, I think something's going on." Emily stood up, shaking her head like I was crazy. "You're being ridiculous. Mike is your friend. Why would I lie about this? I can't believe you don't trust me." And with that, she stormed off to our bedroom. I sat there on the couch, my jaw clenched, refusing to say another word. She twisted it around like I was the one out of line. Fine. If that's how she wanted to play it, I wasn't going to waste my breath. I didn't go to bed right away. I stayed in the living room, scrolling through my phone while my mind ran 100 miles an hour. Eventually, I crashed on the couch, not because I couldn't sleep next to her, I just didn't want to. The next morning, I kept my distance. No good morning, no small talk. I got up, grabbed my stuff, and left for work early. If she noticed, she didn't say a word. But I wasn't about to play nice or pretend everything was fine, not until I figured out what the hell was really going on. The next day, I decided to call Mike. If there was anyone who could clear this up, it was him. "Hey, man," I said when he picked up. "Been a while. How's it going?" There was a weird pause before he answered. Good. Busy, you know." "What's up?" I hesitated, then went for it. "Have you been talking to Emily a lot lately?" Mike's voice got tight. "What do you mean?" "I mean, she's really into this table tennis thing, and she said you've been helping her out." I don't know, man, it feels weird." Another pause, then he laughed, like a forced, awkward laugh. "Come on, Adam, it's just table tennis. Don't make it weird." There it was again, don't make it weird. Like I was the problem. But the way he said it, it didn't sit right. Mike was hiding something. I could feel it. After that weird, dodgy phone call with Mike, I'd had enough. Something was going on, and I wasn't going to keep pretending everything was fine. I could feel myself being pushed to the edge, like I was being played for a fool while they both acted like I was overreacting. Not this time. It all became clear on that Saturday. Emily told me again that she was working late. She said it so casually, like she didn't even care if I believed her or not. "Long hours on a weekend?" I asked, leaning against the counter as she grabbed her bag. "Yeah, we've got deadlines coming up," she said, not even looking at me. "Don't wait up, okay?" I just nodded, watching her walk out the door. The second it closed, I grabbed my phone. I'd been quiet, patient, and calm for too long, and where had that gotten me? Nowhere. I opened up Mike's Instagram. He didn't post much, but it was worth checking. And there it was, a story post from an hour ago, a blurry video of a table tennis tournament. He tagged the location, some venue 45 minutes away. I felt my chest tighten. My mind was racing. She hadn't mentioned anything about a tournament. She hadn't said a word about Mike. Yet here he was, sharing it like it was no big deal. And I knew. I grabbed my keys and left. I wasn't going to sit at home, feeling helpless. Wrong. I'd let it slide, right? She wouldn't know what hit her. When I got to the venue, the parking lot was packed, people coming in and out, wearing jerseys, carrying paddles. I sat in the car for a second, breathing hard, gripping the wheel so tight. This wasn't how I wanted to figure out the truth, but at this point, I didn't care about being polite. I needed answers. I walked inside, scanning the room. It was chaos, dozens of tables set up, paddles smacking, people yelling. I pushed through the crowd, looking for her, looking for him. And then I saw them. Emily was sitting right near one of the tables, completely locked into the match in front of her. And next to her, Mike. They were leaning close together, heads almost touching, whispering like they were sharing some private joke. Then Emily laughed, really laughed, the kind of laugh I hadn't heard from her in months. She smacked Mike's arm like he was the funniest guy on earth. I stopped in my tracks. For a moment, I felt the anger boil up so hard I thought I'd lose it. I straightened up, squared my shoulders, and walked straight over to them. I wasn't quiet about it either. I wasn't sneaking around like I had something to be ashamed of. Enjoying the match? I said, loud enough for both of them to hear. Emily's head snapped up so fast it was like she'd seen a ghost. Her face went pale. Mike turned too, and his expression was pure panic, like a kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Adam, what? What are you doing here? Emily stammered, standing up so fast her chair nearly tipped over. What am I doing here? I shot back. What are you doing here, Emily? I thought you were at work. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. She looked like she was scrambling for an answer, but she had nothing. And Mike, I said, turning to him, nice to see you. Weird that you didn't invite me to this little event, considering you're here with my wife. Mike tried to play it cool. Adam, man, it's not what it looks like. Cut the crap, I said, stepping closer. You've been dodging me for weeks. I've let both of you walk all over me, and I'm done playing the idiot. People were starting to look now. I didn't care. Let them see. If these two wanted to act like I was the problem, they could do it in the light where everyone could see who they really were. Emily grabbed my arm. Adam, please, can we talk about this somewhere else? It's not what you think. Oh, it's exactly what I think, I shot back, pulling my arm away. You've been lying to me for months. Work, dinners, late nights, this is where you've been, sitting next to Mike, laughing like I don't exist. Mike stood up now too, holding his hands up like he was innocent. Adam, calm down. Nothing's going on here. Nothing's going on? I barked out a bitter laugh. That's funny because you sure look cozy for two people who have nothing going on. Emily looked like she was about to cry, and honestly, I didn't care. Not anymore. I turned to her one last time. I trusted you, Emily, I said, my voice low but firm. You didn't just wreck our marriage. You didn't appreciate the trust and loyalty I gave you, like I was too strict for noticing how weird you've been acting. And you, I added, glaring at Mike, you're no friend of mine. I've never known you before. I didn't wait for either of them to respond. I turned around and walked out of that venue. I didn't yell. I didn't break down. I just left, and let me tell you, walking out of there, I felt a mix of anger, sadness, and relief. Relief because I wasn't crazy. My gut was right all along. And for the first time in months, I felt like I was taking my power back. Emily could explain herself all she wanted. Mike could deny it until it was thrown in his face. I didn't need them to admit anything. The truth was written all over their faces. I wish I could say I drove home feeling victorious, like I'd won something, but I didn't. The truth of what I'd seen, what I'd felt, was too heavy to let me feel anything but anger and a deep, gnawing sadness. Still, I stood my ground. I didn't let them gaslight me, didn't let them spin some half-baked excuse. For once, they were the ones scrambling for words. When I got home, I sat in the silence of the living room, staring at the wall. I had no idea how to process it. The woman I'd married, the woman I'd trusted with everything, was sneaking off to table tennis tournaments with my best friend. It sounded so ridiculous I almost laughed, but there was nothing funny about it. About an hour later, I heard the front door open. Adam? Emily called out softly, like she wasn't sure if I'd still be there. I didn't answer. She found me sitting on the couch, arms crossed, staring straight ahead. She stood there for a second, probably hoping I'd be the first to speak, but I wasn't giving her an inch. Finally, she sighed and sat across from me. Can we talk? There's nothing to talk about, I said flatly, not even looking at her. Adam, it's not what you think, she started, her voice shaky. I know it looks bad, but Mike and we're just friends. That's all, I swear. Do you honestly think I'm that stupid? I snapped, finally looking her in the eye. I've been watching this for months, Emily. The lies, the late nights, the way you light up every time his name comes up. You FaceTime him behind my back. You laugh with him like you haven't laughed with me in months. And now you're sneaking off to tournaments with him. Just friends? Come on. She looked like she was about to cry, and for a split second, I felt a pang of guilt. But then I remembered everything I'd been through, the gaslighting, the denial, the way she made me feel crazy for noticing what was right in front of me. I didn't mean for it to get like this, she whispered. That hit me like a brick. I leaned forward. So, there is something going on. She froze, like she hadn't realized what she just admitted. No, I mean, not like that, she stammered. It's just. I don't know. Mike understands me. He listens when I talk about stuff. I haven't felt like myself lately, Adam, and this stupid hobby, this table tennis thing, it made me feel happy. Mike was part of that. Happy, I repeated bitterly. You mean happy at my expense? Because while you were sneaking off and finding yourself, I've been sitting here wondering why my wife doesn't want to be around me anymore. I wasn't trying to hurt you, she said, tears streaming down her face now. But you did, Emily, I said, standing up. You hurt me, and you don't even seem sorry. You're just sorry you got caught. She didn't say anything to that. What could she say? She'd backed herself into a corner, and she knew it. The next day, I decided I wasn't going to let this drag out. That night, I made up my mind. I was done. Mike and Emily could explain it however they wanted, but I knew the truth. They might not have crossed every line, but they'd crossed enough. I filed for divorce the next week. After I filed for divorce, the days were slow, and the nights were even slower. I didn't miss Emily, at least not in the way I thought I would. I missed the version of her I thought I knew, the life I thought we were building. It wasn't about her anymore, it was about starting over, and honestly, I didn't know where to begin. For the first month, I threw myself into routines: work, gym, sleep, repeat. I stopped checking my phone, stopped scrolling through old pictures, and stopped wondering where I went wrong. Instead, I focused on me, on being better, stronger, and not letting this thing define me. It was at the gym where I met her. I wasn't looking for anyone, let me make that clear. I was there to burn off energy, clear my head, and get some of the anger out. But there she was. Tara, my age, worked in marketing, and had this easygoing, no bullshit vibe I hadn't seen in a long time. We talked here and there after workouts, just quick chats about how our days went or how much we both hated burpees. It was casual, but for the first time in months, I felt normal. One day, she came up to me, asking, "Mind if I join you?" I agreed, and we started talking. At one point, she looked at me and said, "You seem like you've been through it. I don't mean to pry, but you don't strike me as the type who hangs out at the gym every day just for fun." I hesitated. Part of me didn't want to dump my past on her, but there was something about Tara that made me want to be honest. "Yeah, you're not wrong," I said, fiddling with the edge of my cup. "Let's just say I've had a rough year. Divorce, betrayal, all that fun stuff." Over the next couple of weeks, Tara and I kept running into each other, at the gym, at the smoothie bar, even once at the grocery store. It felt natural, no pressure, no games, just two people getting to know each other. One evening, we went to grab dinner together. At one point, she asked me, "So, do you hate talking about table tennis yet?" I froze mid-bite, looking at her like she just read my mind. "Wait, how do you know about that?" She burst out laughing. "Relax, you told me you went through some betrayal, so I figured it was something dumb and random like table tennis. Guys always have some wild story." I couldn't help but laugh with her. "You have no idea. Table tennis almost ruined my life." "Good thing you're not that guy anymore," she said, smiling at me. Tara and I were getting close, and things felt easy, natural even. A buddy of mine who still kept in touch with Emily let it slip that she'd found out, and apparently, her jealousy was off the charts. She was venting to her friends about it, saying things like, "He didn't waste any time, did he?" I just laughed when I heard. Classic Emily. She didn't choose me, but the second someone else did, she couldn't handle it. For me, I'm finally moving forward. That's it, guys. Thanks for sticking with me through all of this. It's been a ride, but I feel like I'm finally back on track. Appreciate the support. Let me know if you've ever had to rebuild yourself like this. Sometimes it's the hardest thing, but damn, it feels good when you get there.